So the first restaurant I worked at in Las Vegas was a barbecue joint, and it just happened to be right around the corner from where I was living. So it turned out that the guy that ran this was like a legend in the barbecue community. This motherfucker would come in, smoking cigarettes, like lighting cigarettes off the burners, like 60-year-old man, like it's his fucking restaurant. Like what? Yeah, what are you gonna be like? Hey, Mike, you can't smoke back here. Like cigarette all hanging out of his mouth, like looking into the smokers. Like health inspector comes in, we're so fucked right now. So fucked.
You mean he is, right?
So no, it's come back on my ass.
Technically, that's on him.
Sure.
What would they do?
They would.
No. Let's put it in perspective, though.
Yeah.
I get it if you're over there flipping chickens and you got a cigarette in your mouth and the health inspector walks in. But the owner of the restaurant is in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's not my bad.
Smoking a cigarette while you're cooking. What would they do? Like say, you can't smoke in here, motherfucker? What are you doing?
I mean, they could, if you had enough demerits, they could close the restaurant down.
Oh, so
enough other violations.
So, but if they saw him, they would go...
15 demerits.
That's a demerit, bro.
Yeah.
15 demerits. I swear to God, if I was in any situation, past the age of 18 and somebody said 15 demerits, I would laugh in their fucking face. I would be like, what did you just say? That can't even be anything real. Yep. 15 demerits.
Yep. Oh, and heaven forbid it's like a repeat offense. Like if you've been cited for it in the last 3 years, like it compounds. Like the first time's 5.
But I mean, this is what I'm saying. If a 60-year-old dude is in there, and he's smoking a cigarette, he's chain smoking a cigarette, you're over there cooking, health inspector comes in, and he's like, because the health inspector that is checking your restaurant obviously probably knows you.
Knows me, yeah.
You don't think he knows the owner? Okay.
He lives out of state.
Okay. So the health inspector looks at you, and then looks at this dude smoking a cigarette, and then your response should be, Bill, have you met the owner of the restaurant?
He likes smoking.
I wouldn't even say that. I'd just be like, Bill, have you met the owner of the restaurant? But my point is, if he came in there and saw that dude smoking and realized that he was the owner,
yeah,
would he then, because the owner was smoking in the kitchen, would he then start pulling fucking stoves out and checking to see if the grease? Would he up his game?
Yes.
Oh, that's weird.
Yep. Because they won't leave until they find something.
No, I get it. I get it. He's got to justify his existence.
Now he's going to go look and see if
but
they're smoking during service.
When you would have got, let's say, demerits, then you would have got 10 demerits because, I don't know, you had a fucking paper towel where it wasn't supposed to be or some shit. Is he now looking for 25 because the owner was in there smoking?
Yeah, probably to close it down. Yep.
Really?
Just to be a dickhead. The worst health inspection I ever got in Vegas, it was a trainer and a trainee. And they're just like tit for tat, like, look what I found. Look what I found.
That's on purpose, though.
Like,
that's on purpose.
It's like, fuck me, man.
Because I had a 7-month experience with Hazmat.
Yeah.
For the military.
Yep.
And I thought it was an ambush. I really thought that the Marine Corps was like, we're going to get you. We're going to send you down to Hazmat. And we know that we have no accountability and that people are just running around wild, squirting oil in the air.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be on you because you're the guy, right?
Gasoline fights.
So they send me down to Hazmat. I have to go to this class. I have to go to this class, Hazmat Safety Handlers class, blah, blah, blah. It's a state-recognized class, blah, blah, blah. Teach you all about what the requirements are. Basically, the requirements are this. It all boils down to, 4 days of work and these books, and it boils down to this. If you generate Hazmat, you, the Hazmat guy, are responsible for that Hazmat from cradle to the grave. So, if I hire you a reputable hazmat disposal company, And unbeknownst to me, you drive to the San Margarita River and dump all that hazmat in the river and just drive off. It comes back to me. It like skips you somehow. I don't know how they regulate that in that sense. It's ridiculous, but it skips you. But our hazmat area, like when I went down there, I'm like, there's a bin, like our square bins. There was a bin on the ground with batteries in it, and it's half full of water. There was so much shit that, because I had just done the class, and I'm like, okay, it's going to be good to go because it's the Marine Corps. I went down there, and I'm like, oh my God,
we're fucked.
I am going to jail. That's what this is all about. They want to get me with some sort of hazmat bullshit because it's just crazy. And then the girl that worked down there, I've told stories about it before. Like, if she's out of the Marine Corps, but if she does not live, when somebody wants to go get like some sort of elixir from the witch that lives in the woods, and they go to that cave where the vines move to cover the door when you go there. You know what? She has to live there. She has to live in that place. Terrible Marine. Like you, if you met her, you would go, what do you do? Like, I don't think she owned any uniforms. She wore a pair of stinky coveralls the entire time I saw her.
And she was in.
Marine. And kind of like stuck here. Like, she was in hazmat and in hazmat for good. I think that's just because, well, there's one really good reason why. When it came to managing the actual materials, like, all the fucking used oil and all that, and managing the materials, she was terrible. Like, terrible. But, fucking paperwork,
on point.
Fucking
looked like it's fucking.
Like, her fucking paperwork was so, and I'm talking about we're getting state inspected, we're getting federally inspected. Her paperwork was like
they'd come in, look at the paperwork, be like, all right, we're out of here.
100%. They would come in, they would walk past the fucking batteries melting down on the ground, slip on some oil, come in, look at the paperwork, and go, oh God, you guys this is fucking awesome. You guys are great.
Fucking all over everything. And
then they would go down, and it's fucking hilarious because, what are you going to do? The military is the military. It's the military. SOY, when you think about SOY, it's a total transient. It's a total transient place. The only thing the School of Infantry does is they have guys for, I think the longest period they have in there is 10 weeks, which is sniper school. But most of the other courses are a lot shorter, and they're just boom, 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 boom. They're just in and out. Well, part of hazmat is every single person that comes through that command has to know what all the hazardous chemicals are that are available. And it's my job, supposedly, and I'm like, how the fuck do you even do that? She's like, we don't. You just have to make sure the paperwork's up somewhere where they can see it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yep.
Fucking so
conspicuous.
But like, they would do an inspection because we had at SOY they have 2 motor pools. So the LAV vehicles, they train crew members there, and I think they do platoon sergeant stuff there too for the LAV guys. But they have LAVs there, and then I want to say, is it separate? I'm thinking of something else. It's not separate, but the motor pool's also there. But man, every time you'd be like, they put out a thing. It's like, hey, the EPA is coming through to do an inspection. Hello. And they tell everybody. And sure as shit, you'd be walking the guy through the motor pool so he can make sure that everything... And there'd be 2 Lance Corporals over by the fence pouring fucking 5 gallons of motor oil through the thing into the drain and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
hey guys.
Oh, fuck. Hey guys. Yeah, hey. Hey guys. And then, like, anytime there was we had a really bad storm one year, and a 5-ton got stuck. at an angle where the fuel was leaking out of the fuel was leaking out of the vehicle. And it was raining like it rains here. And they're like, we need you guys to get up there and get a spill kit and contain this spill. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? By the time we get there, that tank's going to be empty, and it's going to be in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Spill kits, they still had us go and put the boom and shit all around it and shit as the water is just going over the... That's fucking hilarious. But getting back to your inspection thing, like, I would have, especially when the state guy came, because the state guy would want to actually, it was OSHA. OSHA would want to actually walk through all the buildings. You know, it's a transient place, so there's tons of buildings. And he'd want to walk through, and he would literally walk through and be like, and I would follow him with like 10 Lance Corporals. And he would walk through and he'd be like, oh, you got no screen on them lights. Them lights fall out and kill somebody. I have to check that off. And then I would be like, hey,
go get some butter.
They're going to do it right now. And if he came back through and it was done, he'd be like, he'd scribble it out. But, you know, it's simple shit like, every Marine's got a wall locker that's that tall, right? It's about that tall. And every Marine does this. They take their pack and they put it on top of the wall locker. Well, that's a fall hazard. Yeah. They could fall and injure somebody. So all you're doing is following this guy, and he'd point, and I would have to just take it and put it on the ground. Yeah. And then just fucking stupid shit like that. But and that's why I was saying, because I didn't know the guy, but it was like if we fixed the problem immediately, like if we were like, okay, as long as it was simple shit, like, you know, pouring fucking fuel into the Pacific Ocean, that's not an easy fix. But as long as it's stupid, silly shit, he would just, all right, it's fixed, whatever. Yeah. But the interesting thing is, so that SOI would get inspected 3 times a year. And every fucking time, all that shit would be back to the way it was. Like, people just, oh, that light bulb's out? Oh, man, what am I going to do with that screen? And let's just throw it away. We don't, you know, it's just fucking every time. Every fucking time. It's crazy. It was the good old days. I mean, I got to lounge a little bit down there because the only time you're really jumping around is when there's an inspection.
Sexual misconduct. He got nailed for sexual misconduct, Mario Batali.
Like every restaurant in the world.
Actual rape or just banging all the hostesses?
Probably just grabbing their ass. Cabby.
Probably ass grabbing. I don't know. I don't think it was rape. No, I mean, if that's the whole restaurant culture is very sexualized, so it does not surprise me, especially the top guy. If he wants to go around with it, he's going to go around like that.
Here's a hot tip, Gabby.
What?
You can write this one down in your little notebook. Here's a hot tip. Anytime men and women are mixed together, it's always sexual.
I was like people you guys work with, but the people I work with were pretty hard drinking, kind of hard partying crew.
Oh, please.
Hot tip. Hot tip. Anytime men and women are together, it turns into some sort of sexual debauchery. Yes, you can pretend like it's not true, but right now in the halls of justice, debauchery is going on.
Thank God.
Somewhere right now, in the hills of Afghanistan, there is a dude getting a blowjob. Let's hope it's your platoon sergeant or your platoon commander. Just make sure she's always has more rank than you. That way, you won't really get in trouble. Even though they're going to hammer you and they're just going to tell her, oh, you know what? We're just going to transfer you over to this other unit because we don't want anybody to know that
you're stuck in everyone's dick.
You're stuck in everyone's dick, yeah.
The poor shitters are rocking.
Yep, that is 100%. This is why every time the Marines go anywhere the Army is, they immediately say, do not, 100%, go anywhere near the women. Why?
Because Marines are dogs, man.
They are dogs. All of them.
Devil dogs. That's why we win.
Devil dogs.
That's why we win wars that the Air Force and the Army can't win. Which is pretty much all of them.
All of them. It's because the Marines have such a high budget. That's why.
No, it's just because we're badasses. I mean, truth be told, they dropped the 2 atomic bombs on Japan for 2 reasons. One, because Marines would have killed everybody, and 2, there would have been a high birth rate in Japan right after that. It would have been like the Spanish conquering Mexico.
Genghis Khan.
Really though? They say that, like, I can't remember what it was. It's a crazy number about how many people. It's a crazy number about how many people actually have his DNA.
23% of the world population has Genghis Khan DNA.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because
fucking
it's rape and pillage.
Yeah. They said women would jump by the thousands off of tall walls just at the rumor he was coming.
Which is weird, man. Because it's weird when you've convinced yourself that life is going to be so much worse than it. I mean, I don't know. Well, once again, nobody ever talks about slaves that Genghis Khan took. They don't talk about that. So you really don't know. Maybe it was a shitty life, but usually in those type of conquests, like the Greeks and the Romans and all that, when they would take slaves, it wasn't too bad. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say it was glorious, but they weren't just slaughtering them and shit.
Yeah.
Goddamn slaves were teaching their kids how to read.
Yeah.
So you don't know how, because you don't know. So you're jumping off a cliff because Genghis Khan is coming. Maybe the only reason why you're jumping off a cliff is because somebody else convinced you that oh man, you know what they're going to do to you, right? They're going to do some terrible shit to you. You might as well jump off the cliff.
Actually, we're going to have
Did
dinner
they
and
not
then we'll
castrate
have
a bunch
sex.
of them?
Well, I would assume that they would do that to guys. They make eunuchs, but
Was it the Greeks and the Romans doing that though?
oh no, it was more the Egyptians.
Because the Chinese.
Because
did
I think
too.
all the men went. All the men would go to manual labor, so they'd all be, they'd probably shitty for the guys, and the girls would either be sold into brothels or they would actually be taking care of households. But
And
versus
they didn't castrate any of them in the United States, right?
I don't know if they did.
Because most of them died from the disease, from bacteria and shit when they castrated them. The Chinese fucking castrated every
Chinese
slave that went into China.
China's really good at doing what China does.
Chinese things.
You don't watch any Jack Spirko, do you? He's been doing a bunch of
serious. I'm serious when I say I don't have time.
No, I got you, man.
No.
I was just gonna say his last couple of videos. He puts up little short videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He's got this red hat, and it's like "Relax, idiot." It's just a hat, and it's a red
Oh, yeah.
magma hat.
Did you wait? Here's the best part. Did you hear about the Smollett? You heard about the Smollett case, right? He's a dude that pretended like he was getting.
Yeah.
Check it out. This is the best part. The Nigerians, I don't understand why they would go to such lengths, because they were both black.
Yeah.
But anyways, the
And it was all
Nigerians,
fake.
yeah, it was all fake. The Nigerians decided they need Trump hats.
Yeah.
Couldn't find any. Couldn't find any in Chicago, so they went to an embroidery shop and just bought red hats because it's Trump country, and they couldn't find any hats.
Ben Shapiro's like, good luck finding those hats anywhere here in the States right now. Like, you just can't fucking find them.
Well, apparently that's not true.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently.
Fucking Ben, you liar.
Well, when those kids, on the mall, they said literally every 20 feet there's somebody with a stand selling Trump hats.
MAGA hats.
MAGA hats.
MAGA.
Yeah. It's amazing. This country is so rich and diverse that you actually have to hire out racism. You gotta hire people to be racist. It's awesome. Oh man.
I saw some chick she's a reporter from CNN, all defending the fact that like, well, we all kind of thought something was going on with the story. That's why nobody really reported on it.
Yeah, they're such liars.
And
God,
then like,
CNN is the worst.
they showed like
Here's
all these news clips. Like,
I will say this is the problem. The reality is the problem is that your news outlets are relying on social media to provide the news instead of actually having real reporters that actually go out and investigate the news and find out what the truth is. They just go off of social media, and that's why this continually keeps happening, is because your news outlets are basically lazy shits that are getting paid way too much money to not investigate real stories.
truth.
Right. Switzerland's completely different. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, don't they pay like 47% tax or something?
yeah,
crazy?
something stupid. But it's free healthcare.
Right, but when you hear free healthcare, what does that mean?
Yeah, no. Oh, I don't think it's the way to go, but
Yeah, if you make $90,000 a year and you pay $40,000 of that to taxes, you don't get free health care.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Democrats right now are going, everybody's tax returns are going to be $170 less this year.
Yeah.
Because they didn't pay that much in taxes, so they're not getting back what the government was stealing from you.
Mm-hmm. People got it twisted with what they think a tax return is.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean? It's like tax return is money that you fucking overpaid. It's not
Right.
them giving it back. You
Right.
they
Exactly.
took too much money. And notice you don't get interest on that money.
That's right. They took a fucking loan out for that money from you and didn't give you a dime in interest when they made billions.
Here's your change back.
Yeah.
Oh, but they'll hound you down for $300 that you owe them or something like that.
Yeah.
They sure will.
Hound you. Like ruin your life, motherfucker.
Mhm.
Here's my money.
They should get those guys all pimp hats. The
The
IRS.
IRS,
Yeah, everybody at the IRS should be wearing a
all
pimp hat.
17,000 employees
Mhm.
with a $1.6 billion fucking budget.
We should open a pimp hat store just for the IRS.
IRS only.
Only IRS agents can get these pimp hats.
Sorry, pimp hat. Pimp hat exclusive.
Pimp hat is strong at the IRS.
Here it might be different, but
We had a bridge they were going to rebuild. This bridge that we blown up, and then they were going to rebuild, so they sent Navy divers up to check the columns to see if the columns could still support, a bridge. So the Navy divers came up, and they were fucking frolicking in the water for a couple days. And then the real Navy came, and then when the real Navy got there, they're like, "We get a little scoop of this. Let's put it in the machine." And they're like, "Oh man, out of the water. Nobody's allowed in the water. It's fucking. It is There's so much crap in this water. We can't have you in the water anymore." And they just drove away. No fixie bridge.
Yeah, we're not getting in there.
And what does the Marine Corps do? Marine Corps gets a pump and pipes water straight out of the fucking Euphrates River, and we're in there washing ourselves. Yeah.
yeah, it's like some guy washing tomatoes like downstream, and there's some other dude taking his shit.
Terrible.
Well, Syria dumps all its Syria. Well, I don't know what they do now because they're in the middle of a conflict. But at that time, all their pollution went into the Euphrates River.
Everything.
Didn't matter what it was. Sewage, fucking
Oh.
whatever, just right into the Euphrates.
Jeez.
Yeah. When people talk about the Green New Deal and what America needs to do, if we got rid of all cars tomorrow, closed down all coal fire, just went uber green tomorrow, it would not do a fucking thing for the world.
Yeah, we've done. Every mammal has microplastic in it.
Yeah.
Anything we can find
And
to cut
your
open.
plastic, and the thing that most people don't understand is the plastic in the ocean is not coming from the United States. It's coming from China.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do?
Do you think it's getting shredded up, or do you think it just naturally breaks down?
It naturally breaks down because of the sun. So while it's floating on the surface, it breaks down to its smallest form, and then it just rolls around on the bottom of the ocean until some fish goes, what the hell is that? And it eats it. Thank you,
Microplastic.
microplastic. But
That's
here's the
just
thing.
plastic.
But here's the thing. When you're fucking pot smoking, hemp wearing, whatever, you don't understand that there's nothing that you have. There's nothing that you own. Nothing that you own does not require plastic.
Yeah. Everything.
Everything.
Yeah. That's why Scully carries a 1911. There's no fucking plastic. Wood grips at all.
Is there any plastic? Well, no, there is plastic in my 1911. I use a fucking a recoil buffer. So I have a little. It's just a little teeny plastic thing that goes on the recoil spring, so that so the frame doesn't slam against the pistol grip. So there is plastic in my 1911.
Scully the engineer.
I could solve all your problems, all of them.
All of them. Man, I was just gonna ask you about fucking something too. God damn it. And then we got on a tangent of microplastic.
Have you seen Elon Musk's spaceship?
No.
It's fucking awesome, dude. It's right out of a 1950s comic
That's
book.
what you're saying. It looks like
It's fucking right out of a
like made up.
1950s comic book. It's fucking awesome. Elon is fucking. You know what? He's a mad scientist. I love it, and he's not conforming to any of the norms of
Anything?
anything. It's just awesome. He will repopulate the planet after we are all gone.
What country was he born in?
I don't know. Is he of foreign descent?
Yeah, he's not from the States. And I think he's been here most of his fucking life, but
The question is, if he was not in the United States, would Elon Musk be Elon Musk?
Hell no. Unless he was in China.
No, even then,
He'd
he would be a party member.
Yeah, party.
He
He'd
would
be
be
in
old
some bunker.
Yep, he'd been hold to the party.
eyes fucking toothpicked open, hands just taped to the desk, like keep
And
working.
he'd be working on
Keep
AI.
working.
Have you ever had a moon pie? Girl, I don't know. Oh, I had my first moon pie this weekend.
Girl, you don't even know.
I don't know.
When you're in Korea and you're fully cammied up, you're in Korea and you're fully cammied up and you got your rifle and you're ready for the North Koreans to come and you're in your hole and it's 10:30 at night and it's pitch black and you can't see anything. And then this light shines over the countryside, this big spotlight. It's pointing up in the woods at you. And then you hear over a PA. You're like, this is it. The Russians, they're coming. You hear soda, moon pie, noodle. And then your squad leader comes, don't fucking go down there. Don't you go down there. Stay right here in your fucking hole. Don't you fucking go down there. And you're like, I'm not going down there. I don't need none of that shit. But all you can see is that vehicle down there. Soda, moon pie, noodle. That's all you can see, right? And then you squint a little because it's dark. So you squint. There's more lights come on around the truck and you squint a little more. And all you see are these little black figures moving around the fucking vehicle and shit, getting moon pies and sodas and shit, coming back up the hill to get in their hole.
Got tricked.
Yeah, I have had Moon pies.
I had my first one yesterday. It was horrible.
Here's the thing about a moon pie. Here's the thing about a moon pie. That is my fondest memory of Korea, is moon pies. Okay? So that was in that had to have been like 92. Okay? Maybe 92. No, that was been the first deployment, so that would have been 88.
62.
It would have been 90. So that was the first deployment into Korea. And when I see moon pies in the real world, I'm like, oh, Korea, so beautiful. When I think about that, right?
Yeah.
For the moon pie. But the same thing. It's kind of like going to the Wiener Schnitzel. You have this memory of something that just didn't exist, and you eat that moon pie, and you're like, man, these were terrible.
Fucking horrible.
Like, these are terrible. They're not good chocolate. They don't have good cream filling. They're just
Nothing.
terrible.
The cookie's atrocious.
So about every 6 months, or about every year, I'll do that.
Like, damn.
I'll be like,
Stuff.
oh man, I remember getting those, and then boom.
Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, fuck it, they suck.
Good job, Kenny.
Yeah, you did. You got me with the moon pie.